I'm going to show you how to create a simple obstacle game. It is based on the third-person template. The game has some simple adjustable obstacles where you can change the speed and reverse of the obstacles. Also, they can be easily manipulated to different types of obstacles. You just need some creative ideas. In addition, I will show you a simple way how to switch the default character, have your own character in the game. The game also has some ragdoll effect when you get hit by the obstacles and simple checkpoints so you don't have to start over. I will also show you how to two different ways you can load in different levels or go to the next level. So let me show you a quick little what it's going to look like. So I hit play. And you can see here the character that I imported, and I will give you a download link below where you can use this character, and also a link where you can download the obstacles. So here you can see I have a character, and also if you hit shift, the character runs fast. So if I come over here, and then if I get hit, boom, you can see I came to ragdoll, and then it loads up to the next place. Now I go here. Oops, not ready to go to my own game. Try this one more time, maybe get a running start. There we go. Here we go, I made it across. There we go, load up to the next level. And hope you enjoy this, and hit like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, so now I have started my game engine here, the launch. And I will base this game on the third-person template. So go in here in games, and I'm going to choose the third-person template. I'm going to name it a obstacle game. Then all here, I'm going to leave all this unchecked because I can always check this later. And then also, I always put my games in a certain folder. And start. So the first thing here, what I'm going to do here is create a new level. And I'm going to base it to the empty level right here. I hit create. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up all my folders and also my sub-levels as well. So what I'm going to do now here is I'm going to go here, hit the content, hit new folder. And then I'm going to name this maps. Then I'm going to do this again. New folder. Call this levels. So I'm going to save my level as, go right here, save current level as. And I'm going to save it into my maps. I'll call it map 1. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a sub-level. And I would name this sub-level lights. And I go to here and hit create new. And I click this empty level. Hit create. And then I'm going to save into my levels folder. And this one allows me, if I want different type of lighting, I can load that in. Or if I want a daytime, nighttime, I can always edit it quickly in different layer systems. Oh, there's lights. And then here in the lights now, I'm going to go into my window, into my environment light mixer. Click that, and I will click all of these right here. Create skylight, create atmospheric light, create sky atmosphere, create volumetric cloud, create height fog. Okay. And well, and then also in here, my sub level, I'm going to right click and I'm going to change this to always loaded. If you do not have this selected always loaded, and when you start the game, your lights will not show in the game. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create my ground where my character can run on, or kind of like a platforms. So I'm going to go in here to content, create a new folder called ground. And then in here, I'm going to create a new layer. Call it ground, SL ground. And I want to go into my selection mode. I'm going to change this into modeling. And then here for my design of my world, I want to choose my cube grid. And my first cube grid, I'm going to just start here at the center. Hit up. I hit E for up, the E key. And then maybe here, runs, I have my pedals going there, I hit E. And then if you don't want something in here, suppose you highlight it, you can hit Q and it reverses. So and then you might have to jump here. Oh, platforms that I have over here. It goes into the next level. And then in here, I'm just going to hit accept. There we go. And now I have set up the basics of my game. But let's do one more thing in here, which I forgot to do. Let's add a player start. So I want to go in here to player start. Okay, that's fine. I want to put this in different, my own folder here, into my obstacle folder. So new level here, and I'll create a sub-level, and this is where I can store all my game content, like my obstacles, player start, and so on. And levels here, just call it SL obstacles. Save, and then once again, I'm going to do this to load it, and also well for my ground, which I forgot to do. That's why I got the error earlier. And then these here, just hit save. All over level. And now I'm going to, now you can see that the ground is loading up in here when I was loaded. And now if I go in here and go to basic player start, and I'm going to go in here, as you see the location, hit here, go to center, world. Oh, it up, make sure it does it. So I'm going to hit play. I have my character in here. Alright, so next what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create my characters. The character that I'm going to use will be this character from Sketchfab, and it is called the Crash Dummy. This character has a rig on it already, but I want to use my own rig that I will use Mixamo for this, and I will use the animations as provided here in Mixamo. When you are getting a character from from Sketchfab, you want to make sure that the character is set up to real scale, and that is what Unreal is. So I'm going to hit here download, which I have downloaded this character already. So I will go to my download right here, and then I have unzipped the character, and then I'm going to do here, I'm going to Maya to get rid of the rig and make sure it is set up to real scale. Drop in here, and then if you go in here now to my preferences, I'm going to show you the I am using centimeters. Average height of a human character or a character itself is anywhere from 150 centimeters to 200 centimeters. And then if I go here to the front, and the way how I set this up is if the preferences is centimeters, so each of these squares will represent a centimeter. So in my grid system, I have set up my as each of these squares represent 10 centimeters, and then from this square here, magenta, is 100 centimeters. So if I go here to my front, you can see here it is like this is 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this character is 180 centimeters. And then if you want to use the measuring tool to just make sure, I could hit X here. Then I go to right here. So you can see he is under 80 centimeters. So next thing here we're going to do now here is I'm going to delete these, and then if I get rid of my rig, I'm going to select both of these, go into delete all type history. Not all characters will have rigs from Sketchfab, but I would say most of them do not have rigs. And then in here, I'm just going to delete that. And then also you want to make sure that your character is facing down the Z direction. So I'm going to go in here and export this character, and we'll put it to downloads here. I'm going to call this T-pose, or A-pose technically, crash, export out. And then I want to go into Mixamo right here, and I'm going to upload that character. And go to my downloads, and then choose the export it out. So now I will hit next here, and now you want to place your where your chin will go and your wrist will go. And something here also, what you want to make sure is that when you download your character, you want to make sure that your fingers are spread apart properly. They're very tight together. You will get this kind of baby effect clamping, or like baby grabbing. Right now you can see here I set up to the standard skeleton, and if you fingers are very tight, you will get the clamp effect by over this 2 chain automatically for you. Then, yeah, elbows, and then your knees, then your groin, right there, and then you hit next. There we go. And then you can see here, I always check the fingers here. So sometimes your fingers will be really wacky looking, but I know this character, the fingers are pretty well set up. And also, if you look, if there's any kind of weird deformation with the arms, legs, if you're not happy with it, you can hit back and redo it. But I'm happy with this. I'm just going to hit next. And hit next again. And then the first thing what you want to do is download this character. So I'm going to hit here download, and I will make sure it's set up to T-pose so it knows that you want to download this character right away. Hit download. Then we open it up here. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to rename this to rig. So I know that when I import it into Unreal, this is the one I did in Mixamo. So next here, I'm going to get my animations that I'm going to use for the game. And first animation I'm going to look for is idle. And you can choose any idle you want. I'm going to choose this breathing idle. And then when you look at the character here, you also want to make sure that the character's arms are not penetrating through the mesh. So right in here it says character arm space. I'm going to change to 60. That looks Oh, nope, a little through there. Slider. There we go. And I'm going to download. I'm going to do without skin and hit download. Because you don't want to have double mesh inside Unreal. So next in here, I'm going to get a walk. And then here's my walk. I'm going to hit in play. Because what's driving the animation Unreal is actually you moving the capsule. And then inside the capsule, it will Asian walk. And once again, here you can enter mesh. Or about that looks good. Then once again, I'll download this without skin. And then next, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my run. That looks like a good run. Place. Once again, I'm just hit download and without skin. Next, we are going to download the jump, and you do not want to download a complete jump. In here, for example, you do not want this type of jump to download. But what you do want is actually the start of the jump and when the character is floating and just about the character is about to touch the ground. That's what you want. So you could download this if you really wanted to, but then you have to edit it in Motion Builder or in Maya or Blender to only get the first jump and then have the character float in here and then have the character just about to land. So what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to type a jump up. And I'm going to choose this one right here. I'm going to hit download without skin. And then I'm going to get my next one here as his idling in the air. I type in float. And I'm going to choose this one. If you really want them swim like, you can do that. I'm going to choose the classic one. And of course, you can change head in Unreal or in Maya. Direction you want, but I'm just going to download without skin. And then the next one I want to get is jump down. That could be this one that's a little bit slower. It might be one that's faster up. No, that's the one then. Jump down. But yeah, that's the one. Out of skin. So now what I want to do is import these characters into Unreal. And I'm going to go into right click and hit new folder. I'll call character import. Right. I'm going to right click and then go into import character. To my downloads. And the one that we did here is the rig. That's the one we got here. Open. And then what you want to do here is leave all of this to default. And if you want to, right here. If you're not comfortable with Unreal or Blender or anything like that, you can't just change the scale. So when you import the character into the game and then you drag it into your scene here, and if the character looks too small or too big, you can adjust the import uniform scale here. And also make sure that when you do import your animation, the uniform scale should be the same as you import the original character. So for right now, I know that my character is set up to proper scaling, and I'm just going to hit import. There we go. And there's my character. And now I want to import my animations. So I'm going to create a new folder. Call this animations. Go into that folder, right click. And then I'm going to choose all of these except for the rig one, which is imported. Then import. There we go. And then once again, if you had a character that's too small or different size, you changed it previously, make sure that this set here is correct. And now we want to choose the character that we have done here, which is this character, tpose_crash rig skeleton. So select that. So your animation being properly applied to that character. Now we can working. Yep, there. Running, walking, jumping, boat, breathing. Alright. And next what I'm going to do now is, since this character is wide, I want to import the textures. I want to create a new folder, call it materials texture. And then I'm going to right click and import the textures here. So select them all. And now let's create the texture for this dummy, crash dummy. So the easiest way to create a texture is, so if you hover over this texture, you want to right click, go to create material. And then what I like to do is I'm going M underscore, and then I'm going to kind of keep, I have a, there we go, hit that up. And then you can see here, now I'm going to apply my emissive, my metallic, normal, occlusion, and so on. And the easiest way to get them in there is just select them, hold shift, select, then drag into editor. Now we only just have to line these up. That. So if you're not sure what these are, so if you click this, you can see this right here in my editor says this is emissive, that is glow, this is right here. So you take this and you just connect it to the emissive glow. And this here is the metallic. And then this is the normal, right here, normal. That's what makes the look. You go here. And this is my ambient occlusion right here. That. My roughness map. So it says roughness map. So connect that. Then I hit save. Then we want to apply this texture to the character. So I'm going back to my character here and open up my skeleton. This will apply to the character or to. I'm just going to type in M. So now I hit save. Now we can see in my animations, they are all applied to. So now we are going to create the blueprints for this crash test dummy so we can use it in our game. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to right click in here and choose animation, go down to my legacy and use blend space 1D. And this is basically saying like how will our character start from the idle and then how we'll go into the walk and then into the run. So we're going to click this. Then we want to make sure that we choose the correct character, and the correct character will be the T-pose crash rig skeleton. And I'm called this blend 1D crash. And then we want to open this up. Put it right here. And now, first thing I want to do here in here, it says horizontal axle, which is right here. Right now, it doesn't have a name. I'm going to call this speed, and I will use the same name for my variable or my float inside my environment. And you had this something new here now in Unreal, which is really cool. This will basically calculate how many steps, or make it so it looks like it's actually moving the correct in from breathe into walk to run. So it would make it look smooth, or it won't make it look kind of sliding looking. So in here, I want to choose my. Oh, before I do that, I need to change this to locomotion, and we will be calculating our feet. We'll type in foot, my left foot, and then my other one will be my right foot. So when I drop this in, right now you can drop anywhere, so make sure to drop it to 0, 0. And now when I drop my walk, it's going to calculate the distance with this horizontal, which is 100 maximum right now. If I drop this in right now, you can see this is what it will look correctly when he moves into walk. And then when you drop in the run, it's going to change that here. I can drop anywhere. There we go. So now it calculates in from my walk and run, or down control. So I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to close this down. And then next what I'm doing is create the blueprint for my character. So I'm going to right click, animation, and my animation blueprint right here. To make sure that create character, T-pose, create skeleton. Great. I'll call this crash. Open that up, and I'm going to place it right here. And then first thing here, we are going to create the state machine, which basically stores all the one blend animation and would tell it how our character would jump. So right click and type in state machine, and then I'll make sure that you grab this, connect this to the output pose, and then I'm going to double click this and go inside of it. And then the first thing here we want to do is we want to use the blend 1D crash right here, and we want to connect this. When I do that, and then when I hit compile, you can see now it has the idle here, the breathing. But we want to also tell it we need it to make it move, so we have to go inside of this blend crash and add a float. And we'll say do the same name float we did in the blend, call it speed. And in here we'll make it to float and hit save, and then drag on top or go to get and connect. You can see this is the repetition of the 1D did. And now we want to go back into the state machine, and we want to tell it how we want to handle a jump. Handling a jump, we will use these conditions, basically saying like, is it falling, or is it time remaining? Is it not falling? What's the time going back before we go back into a walk sequence? So we're going to grab the jump up right here, just drop it in, and do the tail jump. This is floating in the air, and we do jumping down just before it comes down. So now the direction will go, it goes jumps up first, then when it comes into the highest point or somewhere, it goes pose, jumping pose, right before it hits the ground, jumping, and then right before that, we tell it right, it goes back into walking. So now comes to the conditions. The conditions. So I'm going to click here, and then we're going to say that is the character in the air. So the way how we do that, we will create a boolean by naming is falling? Question mark. Here, compile, drag it in and hit get. Then drag it here. Now we're going to click the state machine, go back. We will do this next condition saying that meaning post. So right click and then type in time remaining, or it goes into the jump post. And then we have to say how long would it take. So we'll drag it off the return value and do less than, and then type in point 0.1, and it goes into enter and compile. Say we get an error because we haven't finished it yet. State machine. Now we go into the condition basically saying now that are we still jumping or not? So we are going to grab this, go down here and type in not boolean. Grab this here, and then from here just grab the is falling, hit get, connect this. Then we want to go back in here and do the last condition, be the time remaining. Type in time remaining. Make sure you don't click the ratio, click the time remaining, and do the same thing here. Do less than 0.1. There we go, green check. There we go. So the next in here, what we want to do now, basically set up the blueprint or set up the event graph. So telling to use this, or telling how we're going to measure the movement, and the way how we're going to measure it is the using velocity and the length of velocity. And the same thing we're going to do. Jump, if we want to tell it to get movement component and whether it is falling, not falling. So in here, event graph, we want to first get the speed here. You want to grab it here, and we're going to go down to hit set. Then from here, we're going to grab it, set. So now here the target animation instance for the moving, we want to use that to get its velocity. Remember, we need speed. So we go to velocity. And then from there, we go calculate length of that, and that's how we get movement. Right here. And we will connect that into. And now we will do the jump here. Go down here, return value, we'll get the get movement component here. Component. Grab this, type in is falling. And then from the falling here, we want to grab to set it. Like this to set for the condition here, falling. My code. Then I'm going to hit compile and save. And now I'm going to go back into my map here, and I want to replace third place of blueprint that comes with it. So that's the one we hit play, and that's what the character uses. Now I'm going to open it up and replace that one that we just created. So go into the viewport and then select the character in here. Then the character that we are plays will crash. Class skeleton I probably should have done first. There we go. Should have done this one first, but that's fine. I did this animation class, but here we can see my character reading. And then also I want to do here is there was, I don't know if you guys noticed, there was a slight little gap between the ground there as it was floating, so I want to change that. Undo the snapping there. I'm just, it's not quite there. That was a little better. And save. Back to perspective. Now I want to hit play. Add the own character in the running around. Pretty cool, huh? What I want now is that I want to make sure that character has a running option, so when I hit shift, the character will be a little bit faster. So what I'm going to do in here, open up my character, and what I'm doing here is I'm going to use the shift key for my character to move. So I'm going to right click in here and type in left shift, and use it here. And then if you go here to my character movement, and this is all the configuration for the character. So for example, if you type in walk, you can see the max walk speed 100, and for the crouch is 100. Jump depth here. When you hit jump, it would jump about 700 centimeters. So for this in here, I can actually set it, my thing here. So I'm going to grab my character movement component here. Then from here, what I do now is if I go in here and type in set walk speed, set walk speed, then I'm going to connect this, and minimum walk speed will be 1000. And then when I let go of the key, it will back to default 500. And then make sure that you component to the target here. I'm just going to make sure that is 500. Walk speed, yep, that is correct. And hit speed, not speed, hit compile, save. We hit play. Go, working. Next, I'm going to do now is import the obstacles into the game, and I will provide a link where you can download the obstacle. So the first thing here, what I need to do is download a obstacle from Sketchpad or somewhere else on internet, or you create something, you'll make sure that it is set up as the same scale as the character. So if I go in here now and file import, and then do the spinner, here's the spinner in the game. Turn on my grid here. This size here. You can see that this one is a little bit smaller, and also what I did with this here spinner, it has 3 components, and when I import this, I'm going to combine all meshes together. And when you also creating objects in the game, you want to make sure that everything is 0 into the 0, 0. If I brought this up higher, like higher in the air, the offset will be set down here of mine. So I want to go back into my Unreal, and I want to create a folder called import, and then I'm going to import my obstacles. Go into my game obstacle scenes. Then what I'm going to do here in the advanced tab, combine all meshes together. You can set up whatever way you want it, or I could have combined it in if I did it. Import all. And then what I'm going to do now here is set up the correct collisions for. So I'll double click my fork. And then in here, I'm going to hit show collision simple. You can see that not correctly set up here. I jump through here is actually going to block me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to collision and hit remove collision. Then from there, I'm going to convex decustomization 5. Fine. I get a little bit offset here. You can increase this if you want to. It's perfect, but for my notice, it any effect the gameplay. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Close it out. Same thing for the spinner. Turn on simple. And make sure I remove it first. Save. And now what we're going to do is set up blueprints for the items. So now we can set up the blueprints for these items, obstacles. So I'm going to my content here and I'm going to make a new folder. Fun, we can just color. And now I'm going to create my first blueprint. I'm going to right click, choose blueprint, and the blueprint that actor. And we'll call this EP up and move this over. So now we want this fork to rotate forward, and also we add a static mesh inside of here. So we hit add static mesh, and we're going to you do have this option here. You do have a rotate movement. I mean, this will work, but I want to control it myself by adding float and but tell it speed easier. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to go into my event graph. And the one I want to use is the event tick. So I'm going to tell it to that is local rotation. Have that in here. So I'm going to drag off. And well, actually, before I do that, probably better. I'm just going to drag it in here, and then from here, I add local rotation. And if I did it this way, I could show you it add local rotation. You can see that it's asking like, okay, do you want static mesh or you would default root seed? So you can do either way, but make sure that you select the static mesh. I'm gonna go here, and from here, I wanted to use this make rotor, and make rotor tells the object to move. So I'm gonna type in here, type in make rotor. On the bottom here, rotor. And then what we want to use is that we want to have this multiply. And what this multiply means is that I can use a larger number for my float, and it'd be easier to find the correct adjustment or the speed I want my fork to rotate. So I'm going to right click in here and then just hit asterisk here or multiply, and then hit multiply. From there, I'm going to grab the delta seconds and grab it to the bottom here. Use this return value to here. Then we want it to go to the delta rotation right here. Oops, sometimes happens. I'm going to grab it from here and multiply. So now it worked. I do apologize. There we go. Sometimes a little finicky. Where do you want your multiply to go from? And then we are going to use a variable to control the speed of the item in the scene. And I call it speed fork. And we want to make this into a boolean. Into a float boolean. Then we want to get it, and we want to connect to the X roll. When we do in the fork, we will do the Z roll. So now in here also I want to have it show the variable or the instance variable. So when I'm in here, do the fork, I could actually change. Really helpful. So I'm going to hit compile. What I'm going to do here is just put the speed in. On be here and now up like, and now let's see it working. So here, hit simulate. A little bit slow. Simulate. I need to get faster. That looks like good. And then if you want to, and if I hit unsimulate, and if I grab this here, float, I hit minus other way. Now you can see other way. I can hit game, see what it looks like. Here, see a little bit small here. Okay, and we are going to test it here. Put it a little bit in. Also want to do here is make it a little bit bigger. Okay. If I hit this lock, the unified size. Let's do it to, let's see what that looks like. That. That's good. Move it slightly higher. So that looks good. So now we are going to create the ragdoll physics for the character. So way how we're going to do this is we want to go down to our blue person character, open that up, and we are going to use the mesh to call the ragdoll physics. So if I scroll down here by this mesh is selected, down here to the collision, then the collision presets, set this ragdoll. And then we want to test this, so we're going to set up simulate physics by using D. So in here we are going to type the D port, and we are going to grab the mesh, drop it in here, drag it off, and type in set simulate physics here. That, and connect this and check this. We compile and save. And Z ragdoll. As you can see that if I move around, my camera moves freely. We don't want that. We want the camera to be locked into the character. The way how we do this, doing local that lock our location socket bone. So let's go back into our blueprint here, and we are going to use the event tick for this. So we're going into event tick. Then event tick would set up a condition. The way how we set up a condition here is using a branch. Then we set up a ragdoll mode boolean. So in here we are going to create a boolean first, doing the variables. Call this ragdoll mode, and we're going to do here and hit it, get it. Then here we just get a branch. So if you hold down B on your keyboard and your left mouse button, get the branch instead of a drag it in here, set this, and then from here we are going to use the capsule roll capsule. So we go in here to type in set world location and make sure we capsule, or I can just grab it from here, drag it up, and then I will capsule component. That socket location from the mesh. So go down here for new location, type in get socket location, and then we are going to use mesh here. Grab the mesh here for the target here, get it, connect, and then we can type in pelvis or hips, whatever you have, and hit compile, save. And from up here we want to set the ragdoll mode. Grab in here, set ragdoll. Oh, and then make sure you hit the check mark. Then from here we are going to get the capsule component, and oops, I went too fast there. Go to capsule component, just drag it in. Then we are going to enable. If we don't do that, let me show you what happens. Go in here, play. You can see we jumping all over the place. So the reason what happened is that we need to set it to enable it. But also you can see when I do this, C key, you can see that I am locked to the pelvis here now. Fall down here, and I'm locked to it. So let's go back in here. We are going to grab the capsule, hit set collision enable. Hit compile and save. Let's go back in here. Locked into my character now. And now we are going to create a custom event so we can use this ragdoll when it hits the fork. We can call it. So the way how we're going to do this here, we want to go back in our ragdoll, into our third person character, and we are going to create custom event, and the custom event we will call it inside of the fork. So in here, I'm going to right click and call this custom event. And then we're going to name this ragdoll. And connect it. And then we hit save. And then what we want to do here, go back into our fork, into event graphics. Then in here, we are going to grab the fork here, and then we are going to use this called a hit component. So on here, on hit component, select that, and we are to make sure that when the third person hit it, activate ragdoll. So in here, I'm going to scroll off, and then we're going to cast to third person character right here. Third person character. And then from here, we are going to custom event. Type in off here, you just type in ragdoll. Let me just create it. Now hit compile, save. Now when you hit play, ragdoll when I hit. So let's see if I can make it through. I'm really good at my own games. Keep dying. Last time. There we go. Made it. Now what I'm going to do is create the spinner by using this one right here. So I'm going to go back to my blueprints, and what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to duplicate this. I'm going to go to Control D, or go up here and hit duplicate, and I'm going to call this a spinner. Open that up, and then in here, my spinner, I'm going to place it. Here. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to use customize collision in here. So if I go in here now and go into add, type in capsule collision, I'm going to do this instead. Different way you can do this. A little bit more time consuming. That and that in. And I'm copying. I just practicing. And I'm going to add a center. And then from each one of these ones, I will do a begin overlap. So I'm going to delete this. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to delete that. And then from here, I'm going to right click a event overlap. and I will cast it to third person character. And from here, I'm going to call it a ragdoll. So, and I will do the rest of these, and I will speed up the event here so you don't have to follow it. I will speed it up here, all these here, so you don't have to be tortured each one. Okay, let's see if this one works. So let's go into grab it in here. And also what we need to do is I forgot to change this here. You want to actually rotate away. So grab this, grab it on here. Make sure that is working. Right. Oh. And for testing purpose, when I play, hits it. Perfect. And it will push me away. Look at that. Nice. And now I'm going to create the swinging pendulum. So I'm going to right click here and create a blueprint and call this the actor. And name it swing. That up. And then in here, I want to create a box cube. Create a cube. And then in my cube in here, I'm going to create a cylinder. Rotate. Oop. Degrees. Good. Rotate it. There we go. So connect it. All right. So now in here, I'm going to add a static mesh. Import it. Type in static mesh. All that imported. And that is. So next, this is we'll go into event graph, and we are going to timeline. So what we're going to do now is over here and then timeline. Add a timeline. We're not going to do from start. We actually want to start to a. That. So what that means is that it won't be this weird, improper animation or like snappy animation. So here we are using this as also a how long for the pendulum. Open that up. We are going to use flow track. And in the flow track, this is the length of the swing, which will be 3 seconds. Oops. Type in 3 seconds. And now we are going to create our flow. So the first one would 0. We'll shift down to get it, and just hit the time 0. And then it will start from 90 degrees. So while that's later, type in is 90. So we hit this arrow key to zoom in. Got the key here. Now we're going to create the next one. Hold down Shift. And this one here will be 3 seconds. And this will be positive. Here we have. So this one here is 0 minus 90. And this one here is positive 390. So to make it a little more fluid here, we're going to over select this, hit right, hit auto, hit kind of like a smooth. Same thing with hit save, and now we graph here. And then we are going to relative rotation. So we're going to pull this, especially we're going to grab this cube here, and then we're going to relative and connect this to in Asian. Right click in there and hit struct. And what this allows me to do, which way do you rotate? We want it to rotate my pick. And from there, when it comes up, you want to have a slight delay. So we're going to do seconds. It's up to you how many seconds delay you want it to make it. Now what I'm going to do is basically out here, we'll just copy this, and then we are going to from end. So copy this, not this here. Copy all of that and place. Then from that, from first from end, then are going to go right here and save on, and let's go back in here. Let's put this here and put my pellet. I add there. Back to 0. Hit play. Well, it's spinning the wrong way. Alright, let's go back in here to the swing. Here, if we go into direction, it actually depends on how I there we go. Probably have to adjust it here too, so bring back here. Play. So now it's swinging. So now we want to add a collision to this ball. So when the ball hits me, I will go into ragdoll. So let's go in here. I'm going to actually bring it a little higher up here. Actually hit. Up. Down. So let's go back into my swing. static here, we're going to do the same way as we did the fork. We're going to do a hit on the character, and we're going to pass to third person. We're going to get ragdoll. And hit save. There we go. Ragdoll. Let's go create the platform blueprint. So in here, I'm going to right click, add a blueprint class, call this here. That up. And then in here, we are going to get the static mesh. So we can use platform. And then from here, we're going to use this called interpret mode movement. This will make this go back and forth. In order to do that, we need to be long. Then also knowing that we will set inside of construction. So as I said, we will construction script. And then in here, we are going to interpret. Then from here, we are going to set the duration. Set duration. That. Then from here, we are going to create a float. Float. And right here. Compile. And also, you want to move the float here. So right now in here, we are going to drag the float in here. Get it. Then next here, we are going to get the control point position. This will allow us to place little widgets where the platform wants to go to. So in here, let's copy this. Call it add point position. Connect this. And then we are going to right click in here and create a variable. Right click, promote variable. And we'll call it at location. Compile, and then here we are. Instant, and also make sure you hit show 3 widget. How to move it where you want the platform to go to. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Control and connect this to here. And we're going to duplicate this location and put it there. So now let's see if this works. Save. Go to your maps. Here. Right here. And now we can move widgets here. That. Let's move this away and move my. And then I hit play. It is moving, but it's going very slow because of the distance. All right, so now let's grab this, and then in here, let's go back into the platform. Oh, I forgot to do that in here. And now here you can see now I did float for it to be 5. That looks like play. There we go. Now it's moving faster. Okay, so now I am going to do the checkpoint. So if you go through the checkpoint and you die, you will respawn right behind the checkpoint, so you don't have to respawn at the start always. So let me here. So one thing I did here first, I did some cleanup. I originally had, I believe, all my components inside of my grounds here. And in my lights is all the same here. And then what I did here, I moved all my objects here by fork, platform, swing, and place spark into here. And then also I made sure that is always loaded. If you have any trouble, just delete here from the scene and then just put them back in here if you want to. So the first thing here I need to do here, I want to set up my, if you go into blueprints and in, oops, not in there, inside of my third person game mode, this is where I'm going to set up my thing called event destroyed and set up a custom spawning right here. And if you don't see this, you might see here open blueprint on the top here. You get the full event graph, construction, and viewport. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to right click and type in event begin play. And then for event begin play, I'm going to get the character and cast it per person. So I want to get the get player character, this right here, and then from here I'm going to cast it to the third person character right here. Move this up and then connect, and then from here what will happen when my character gets destroyed or killed, we are going to tell it we want it to spawn a certain location. So there is a command called event destroyed right here, bind event destroyed. So what will happen if my character gets destroyed, my third person character, and we are going, from there we're going to set up a custom event. So in here we just call it custom event, just call it destroyed. And we are going to have a slight delay from here, so hold down your D key. You could happen instantly if you wanted to, but I just kind of like insecure, just makes it a little more nice. And then here we are going to spawn from class. And what spawn for a class allows us to do is spawn the blueprint that we want. And the blueprint, of course, would be the third person character that we just destroyed. And here it says spawn transform. This is the location where you want your character to spawn. And we are going to call this in the BP fork. I'm sorry, in the checkpoint box, collision box. We are going to create later. So right click and then just hit promote. Doing that. So let me do that one more time. I had accidentally had another transform. I just make it clean here. So yeah, so it will be here. It will be spawn transform. I do apologize. I did this previously, and this is the one we want to use. Spawn transform. From there, we want to get player controller. So hit here. Type in get player controller. And then the player controller, that is like when we get the character, we want to possess it. So I'm going to type in here possess. Then this one right here, possess. And we are going to go connect this, then return value in 1. So after we possess it, this is how to respawn again. So we're going to go back in here, create another custom event, respawn again. Connect this to here. And then from here, we just going to hit respawn again. And then we can compile it, hope for no errors. Fine. So now we go back in here to map here, and then go back to your blueprints. And I want to create a blueprint here, my collision or my checkpoint, which would be a collision box. Make sure it is an actor. Call it BP checkpoint. Open that up. And then here we are going to do a collision box right here. A collision box, and then this collision box I'm going to make bigger. Like that, and you can change the size, the level when you put it. So I'm going to my event graph, and then we go into event graph here. We're going to right click, go to add on component, begin overlap. So click that. Then on the begin overlap, you want it to cast to the third person. So we notice it's third person. So from here, other actor, drag out, type to cast third person character. And for the third person character, we want mode, every game mode, and that's what we in this game mode here we were doing it. We want to get it now, so we're going to type in get game mode. Sorry, get game mode. And from the game mode here, we're going to cast it to third person, so we're getting the third game mode. And now we want to tell it where do we want. So the way how we do this is called get actor location. So drag down here and type in get actor location. Bring it out. And then from the acting location, we want to spawn it to that this spawn transform. So we're going to drag from here, drag out, type in spawn location. Oh, and let's do from here to type in spawn. Oh, I think we have to. Yeah, I think. That one more time. There you go. Set spawn location. I forgot to hit compile and save, I believe. So to type in again. Set spawn location. Oh yeah, just do set. That's how you do it. I do apologize. Set spawn location. I was thinking ahead of time. Set spawn location. And then we connect this. And we connect up here. And then let's do here. Let's go. And then we want to, with a fork here, go back here to the, or whatever obstacle you have that actually cause damage. We want it to destroy you, doing that, or kill you. So we go back to fork here. All right, go in. I'm going to hit a little delay. So we want that kind of ragdoll still to kind of happen. So I'm going to hit 2 seconds. Then from here, grab in. Then we want to destroy this actor. So we're going to just pull this over here and type in destroy actor. Seconds here. So now when you hit compile, back into our map, do this. Then we drag in our spawn point, which is 0. Move here. And then let's hit play and see what happens. I'll go through my spawn point. I go through. If I hit die, I get respawn at the. Let's do the same thing for the ball over there. So I'm going to do here. Take this. I'm just going to duplicate this checkpoint. I'm going to go into swing. In my BP swing here, I'm going to do the same thing here. Hit delay. Now 22 seconds. Connect this here. And we destroy actor. Connect it here. So back and save all. So now when I hit play, through, I go died, spawn right there at that location. I was going to get hit again. Not the best location for the spawn point. I partially moved a little back and made it a little longer for good old level design. So the next thing here we're going to do is create a blueprint that we can actually load into a new map or level. So the first thing here, what we need to do is create a new map that we can actually go into. Hit new level. I'm going to create this, use this basic. Hit create. And it has a player start in here already. So we're going to name this map save current level as inside of maps folder we created. Hit 2 and make sure you don't override this one. I've done that before. Stinks. Hit save. And then we are going to go back to the level we've been working on and go back to blueprints. And in here we are going to create a blueprint called dp_load map. Then hit save and open this up. And then here, this is when we add a box collision. So as soon as we hit the collision, we'll load into the next level. So type in here, open, sorry, box collision. A little bigger, save all. And let's go to event graph in here, and then in here, event graph, we are going to use the on component begin overlap. As soon as we hit it, we load into the next level. There are two ways to do this. I'm going to do the old way first. So I type in here open level, and then we type in map 2 and compile and save. Go back into map 1. I'm going to move my player start and don't have to go through the obstacles. I'm probably going to fail. So we're going to put this map in this map, the collision box right here. Like that. Sure, make it big enough just in case you don't have one of the super jumps you made into it, taking consideration. So get start here and here. My platform. Oh, I made it faster. I don't fall off it. Load into map 2. Alright, let me show you the other way, which I think is much better. So go back into your map level 1, and then we're going to type in open level object by reference. So in here, this is actually where you can choose your level, so you don't have to worry about misspelling what you type in. So we did map 2 here, and hit save all, and I said hit play. Could have made it faster again, but that's fine. Load here. Guys, wait back and forth a moment. No. So that is how you create a basic 3D game, obstacle game. And there's many ways you could redesign this and make this differently. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you like it, hit the like button and also hit subscribe. All right, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.